What is up, guys? It is Christ, and we are back with another video. Welcome back to Progressive Thursday, in other words known as this week is going to be Dream Theater Thursday, obviously. We are going to be checking out the final part of the Falling Into Infinity album reaction also immediately after this video is released, and I guess by the time you are seeing this, we're going to be doing a live stream, so probably jump over there to the live stream first, and then come back and watch the rest of the video, obviously. But we're going to be checking out 3 songs. We're going to be checking out Just Let Me Breathe, Anna Lee, and Trial of Tears, which everybody's hyping up Trial of Tears, so I'm pretty excited to check that one out when the time comes. But let's check out Just Let Me Breathe first. It says, written by drummer Mike Portnoy, Just Let Me Breathe is an attack against the force-fed pop music that exists in the mainstream, and this underlines the pressure exerted on Mike Portnoy, who was against the idea to do a more mainstream album. Now, I don't know if he was talking about this album specifically or if he was talking about Awake, because there was a couple references to Awake. But we'll definitely find out. Without further ado, let's get started. It's supposed to be that quiet? I like how clear Mae Young's bass is right now. I really like that. I like the feedback on Petrucci's guitar. Seems like it's a little bit quieter. That's as loud as it'll go, so I can't make it any louder than this. I'll turn my voice down so that it's a little bit better for the mix. Unless I'm not turned up all the way. Oh, I'm not. Okay.
Open your eyes and turn off your mind. Step right out, folks. You will find a growing trend, an epidemic, spread with zen and hyper.
I like the riffs that are happening. Ooh, I'm peeking. I like the riffs, definitely. They're pretty heavy.
Just close your mind, you can find all you need with your eyes. Big machines take care of you until you kill yourself, and then the sales go through. Calculate, formulate, be my game with deep thoughts, and let me breathe instead of being tired. I'm on it out with Jerry medicines. I'm on this, let me breathe.
Some pretty, taking some pretty heavy shots at some people there, definitely. Where's he at? Where's he even at? Okay. Ooh. All right. I keep having to remind myself that this isn't Rudess. He's pretty good. Derek's pretty good. Okay, interesting solo. Not really a fan of that. Almost sounds like it's a completely different key or scale. Ooh, okay. I like the feedback on Petrucci's guitar.
Just close your mind, you can find all you need with your eyes. Beat machines will take care of you until the thoughts you fade and the checks go through. A bankrolls red and my face is blue. And still the time now pass from me for someone new. Beat my
Ooh, that line is, yeah.
real thoughts and let me think instead. I'm being taught. I'll say things you won't believe. Just stand back, just like a rain.
That was actually a pretty good song. There was one little section, I didn't really care for when they were dueling the guitars and keyboard back and forth. It sounded like it was either a completely different key or a completely different scale that he was using, and it did not mesh well with the rest of the instruments. That's just what I thought. Overall, I would say this album was definitely pretty good. I really enjoyed this song specifically. But other than that section, like it was pretty good. I would have to rate this if I was going to rate this a 4.5. Let's take a look at some of the lyrics though. So it says, "Open your eyes and turn off your mind. Step up, folks, and you will find a growing trend, an epidemic, spreading with Zen and hypodermics." So that last line is kind of like what I'm interested to find out. Don't bother thinking about what you like. People will do it for you. The trend will tell you what you must like. This is so true in today's music scene. It's funny how this was written, I think, over 20 years ago. 25 years ago now that I think about it, right? When did this come out? 23 years ago, it looks like. And this statement has just become more and more relevant as time goes by. You have people telling you what types of styles that you have to listen to be trendy or to follow fads and everything. They tell you what type of music is cool instead of letting you express your own artistic desires. And when you like something, oftentimes you're shamed in this music industry, not only as a band but as a listener too. You're shamed into listening and following trends, which I just have never done as a person. And so I really agree with what he's saying in this song. Now, this is what the pre-chorus says. These lines are sarcastic and show the mentality of music industry in relation to the mainstream sound, which is the contrary of "Close your eyes, you can find all you need in your mind," which is from "Take the Time" on Images and Words. The melody on this line is a quote of Bohemian Rhapsody's lyrics, so you think you can stone me and spit me in my eye. I cannot talk today to save my life. But overall, I would say this song is pretty good. Lyrically, I definitely have a lot of disdain for the music industry as a whole. I don't think I'm going to be going over it too much because it's pretty self-explanatory, and there's stuff that I just don't want to talk about, like this part, for example, this particular person where he self-deleted himself, and so we're just not going to go over that kind of thing. And it's kind of sad that the music industry will push people to that point. And I do like how the expression, what he was talking about, "just let me breathe." The music industry, the producers, they don't give these artists any I guess room to breathe or express creativity or artistic design. They want their design executed through the band, not the band executing their own design, which is or ideas, which is what is kind of sad about the music industry and how that still has not changed. Now, as much as I dislike pop music, I have to give respect and credit where it's due. Taylor Swift, as much as I do not like her, has been standing up for the music industry in ways that I wish more mainstream artists would do. She's not been standing up for them, she's been standing up to them. And which is something that I think that more artists need to do, more mainstream artists, so that there can be some real change in the music industry. With that out of the way, let's check out Anna Lee. Now, this is actually one I hear quite a bit about. I don't think it's been that suggested on my channel, but I know that it has been suggested for other people. I watch other... I do apologize. I have to apologize. I just woke up. But I know that I've seen other reactions for Dream Theater, and this is a song that's been requested in them, as well as I'm in some Dream Theater fan groups, and so this is one that they talk about sometimes. So I'm pretty interested to find out what Anna Lee is about. So I guess let's move on. Come on. There you go. Oh. Okay, get ready for some verbal gymnastics.
Helpless child, they invite your hands to feel their needs. Will you be the same? Shameless smile to steal from you the innocence that bleeds. Will they feel your pain? Trying to believe the scars unseen, the tears washed clean. You don't wanna breathe the air.
It's gonna be a sad one.
You don't know how you live a life alone. She keeps holding on to you. Let her breathe the air. Don't wanna be alone. Where do you belong, Anna Lee? Behind those eyes, a vivid scene, a lucid dream within. Question secrets are revealed, and every time you can't deny the lines that trace your skin. Wounds that never heal. Trying to believe the scars unseen, the tears washed clean. You don't wanna breathe the air you breathe. You don't know how you live a life alone.
Oh man.
She keeps holding on to you. Let her breathe the air. Don't wanna be alone. Where do you belong, Anna Lee? And now she's coming.
Pretty sad solo by Petrucci, that's for sure. I'm like seriously at a loss for words for this song. I'm glad it was made.
Trying to believe the skies unseen, the tears wash clean. You don't wanna breathe the air you breathe. You don't know how you live a life alone. She keeps holding on to you. Let her breathe the air. Don't wanna be alone. Where do you belong, Annalie?
I have a feeling that Trial of Tears, Annalie goes directly into Trial of Tears. If it doesn't, we're going to pause. We're not pausing. We're gonna listen to Trial of Tears. We'll talk about it afterwards. It seems like ooh, this is by Mayoung too, which is gonna be really cool. I had the feeling that this song would be linked thematically, at least, to the previous one, Annalie, but we'll find out. So far, really liking Petrucci's sort of atmospheric playing. It sounds really nice. Almost has a blues sort of style to the singing.
Music fades away, splashing through the rain. I'll dream of them one day. It's raining, raining on the streets of New York City. It's raining, raining, raining deep in heaven.
I really like Derek's support. It sounds really nice. John Mayeng's bass is really clear through here. I really enjoy Petrucci's lead playing as well. Ooh. Okay, all right. Ooh, that overdrive though. Oh, that's nice. All right. This section reminds me of a Change of Seasons right now. Ooh, that's nice. Ooh, that was nice. Every single band member sounds really good right now. Derek is playing a really nice supporting role. It's a shame he was only on that one album, because I really like him. That I'm aware of. Okay, where are we going from here? That was a really smooth transition too. This is one that I really appreciate because of Mayoung's bass being so prominent in it. This reminds me of the section in Full Circle from Octavarium. Kind of ironic because this one's about a cycle too. This section reminds me of Full Circle in Octavarium. Man, they're just going crazy. Holy crap. That was amazing. That amazing section right there. That was nice. Okay, where are we going from here? Okay.
I continue to move along, cultivating my own nonsense. Welcome to the wasteland, where you'll find ashes, nothing but ashes.
Section 3 really was, the way it started was really nice with that acoustic guitar. That overdrive is nice. Oh. What an amazing song. I see why this one was what people were wanting this one. Now, I think that was the last song that I needed to hear in order to listen to Scenes from New York in its entirety. From, not Fron. I guess when Trial of Tears was on it. I guess it wasn't. Alright, well, I would love to listen to that again, but I think I'll do that off stream. I mean, off video. So I think I've heard the majority of stuff, or at least all the stuff that was on not a Change of Seasons, live scenes from New York now. So I think I might want to try and check that out. I've tried to do a video on the past, but it got blocked, so we're not going to be doing that. I'll just listen to it in my own time. Thoughts. One of the things that I was saying, I don't know if you had heard me, but in the final section of section 2, or was it Deep in Heaven? It actually reminded me of the Full Circle part in Octavarium. It was the same time signature. I think that Portnoy was actually doing the same drum pattern as well too, which it definitely sounded really cool, and it definitely fits thematically. If it was a reference, if that part was a reference to Trial of Tears, that would definitely make sense. Now that I think about it, because this song is about a cycle, and so Octavarium, as we all know, is about being trapped in a cycle, a never-ending loop, and so that would definitely make sense if that was the case. Let's take a look. So I actually want to talk about Anna Lee before we actually get into this one. We didn't talk about that one, so we'll talk about that one now. So you're going to hear some verbal gymnastics on here. I'm not going to use certain words. Also, this was in pretty poor taste, so I am not going to be clicking on this one right here. Why is this so slow on this page specifically? I will not be clicking on that because there was some pretty just stuff that was in poor taste in that one. So it says, helpless child, they invite your hands to fill their needs. Will you be the same shameless smile to steal from you the innocence that bleeds? Will they feel your pain? I really don't know how much I'm going to be getting into this one lyrically. Let's take a look and see what this says. This stanza describes the bad things and the consequences of this. Loss of innocence, loss of purity, the pain. Most likely it is the bad things based on this line, although their needs could also refer to a violent need instead of a different kind of need. So this is like going to be a pretty dark song lyrically. So it says, trying to believe, the scars unseen, the tears washed clean. You don't want to breathe the air you breathe. You don't know how you'll live a life alone. So basically what it seems right here is this person, after the bad thing had happened to them, they ended up taking a shower to try and clean the shame from what happened, which is just absolutely despicable. It says, she keeps holding on to you. Let her breathe the air. Don't want to be alone. Where do you belong? I'm assuming this is actually her reaching out to someone, and this is from the point of view of someone that, like, the person was reaching out to, not necessarily the person who had done the bad things, but the person that she was trying to reach out to for help. It says, behind those eyes, the vivid scene, a lucid dream within. Lucid means feeling very real. Questioned secrets are revealed, and every time you can't deny the lines that trace your skin, wounds that never heal. So perhaps this is either a teacher, or maybe it's someone that the child knows, and they see the signs of these bad things happening to this person, and they start questioning the things that are happening. Questioned secrets are revealed, and every time you can't deny the lines that trace your skin, wounds that never heal. I'm assuming the lines is talking about taking a instrument that separates cells and applying it to your skin. I'm just not going to say certain words because they can cause the viewers to tank, and so we're not going to be doing that. We've already gone over the pre-chorus. It says, she keeps... I think we've actually gone over that too. And now she's calling out a name. Can't keep on hiding all her pain. You feel the rain move in as you begin to turn and answer the call. So I'm assuming that the person has finally decided they're going to tell somebody. The person that has seen the signs of potential bad things happening to this person, they are going to be reaching out to someone, probably protective services or something like that. Which ironically in America, that's where the most amount of bad things happen, is in the foster care system. Sometimes the foster care system is worse than just leaving it with somebody else that like the person knows. Most of the time it's fine, but there is a rampant amount of bad things that happen to children in those particular environments. Yeah, so I think we've gone over this all. Now, so lyrically, this song is really dark, but it's sort of almost contrasted by how beautiful and also hauntingly beautiful the actual like song is, because it was sad, but like it was also really emotional as well. And Petrucci's solo in this was just really, really sad. And the piano, Derek definitely did a really good job on this one. But this song is obviously more about the message and bringing awareness to this kind of thing than the music, even though the music itself could have stood up on its own. Now, they've actually done 3 that I know of that are about this particular sort of topic. They've done Peruvian Skies, they've done Anna Lee, and they've also done Behind the Veil, which is also an absolutely amazing song. That song gives me like goosebumps every time I hear it. It is just absolutely amazing. Let's look at Trail of Tears, because this one is definitely a more abstract sort of style, and I don't think I'm going to get too like in-depth lyrically about it. But I will say this is definitely one that I appreciated the music. The instruments on this were pretty much unmatched. This is, I would say, the best song on the album Trail of Tears. Mayung's... it says it was written. It didn't say the lyrics were written by it. So if the whole song was written by Mayung, that's incredible. He is definitely super underrated as a musician. I think he seriously needs more time to shine in the band. He needs some actual bass solos. He does have some really cool bass parts, but I would prefer him to have actual bass solos, since I know he's capable of it, but that's Rudess and Petrucci's thing. I just wish that he'd get a little more spotlight in that department. So, it says, written by bassist John Mayung, Trail of Tears talks about a dreamer who faces various problems and falls into depression. It could be a personal experience of John Mayung when he was younger. As for the tone, Trail of Tears is more progressive. I actually very much agree with that one. This one was very progressive in terms of the transitions, in terms of the just different themes, as well as the time signatures. This was definitely really high on the list. It says, under the sun, there is nothing to hide. Under the moon, the stranger waits inside. As you can see, this says, when the sun is high, you have nothing to hide. All is clear, and your path is ahead of you. But then comes a time when you notice the sun is gone, and the moon is up there, and doubt arises, and you ask, who am I? And thus, a stranger waits inside. I've actually done that, now that I think about it. I've just sat there and questioned like what I'm supposed to be doing and that kind of thing. So that's something I can identify with. Definitely one I can do that. People disappear. The music fades away. Splashing through the rain, I'll dream with them one day. The situation is getting worse. The protagonist stops dreaming and he falls into a storm of tears. The protagonist, referring to John Mayung, went to high school with John Petrucci and Kevin Moore. So I'll dream with them one day could be a reference to Dream Theater. I've actually read into that before, and so I'm sort of familiar, but I don't remember. It's been a long time since I did read that. And this is obviously him growing up in New York. He says, I may have wasted all those years. They're not worth their time and tears. I may have spent too long in darkness in the warmth of my fears. So this could actually be about perhaps someone that he loved at one point, whether it be platonically or romantically. To me, this definitely speaks of romantic love, because a lot of times when you break up with somebody, you're just constantly reminded of all that time, and a lot of times you will refer to it as wasted time on that particular person. And so that's sort of what I see. It also could be him trying to reach out to somebody, save somebody, and they just don't want their help. They don't want his help or something like that. So I can definitely see what he's coming from with there. It says, take a look at yourself, not at anyone else, and tell me what you see. So he's asking him to take a look in the mirror and sort of take a look at himself, examine himself. I know the air is cold. I know the streets are cruel, but I'll enjoy this ride one day. So maybe he's having a tough time right now, but he knows that he's going to get through it eventually. In the end, life is just a circle of dreaming. No matter if you're moving forward or stuck in the past, there's always the longing for something you can't even describe. Something without a particular picture. There are moments in which this kind of dreaming can be beautiful as well, but it's just not enough because there's no sense in life. There's a lot of sense in life, regardless of whether you are religious or not. Your time on this earth is precious, and what you do with it will leave a lasting impression, or not, depending on what you want to do with it. I would prefer to be remembered, and not just fade away into non-existence. That's what I would like to do, but so many people are just forgotten, and I don't want to be one of those people. So regardless of whether you're a religious person or not, your time on this earth matters, and it's best to do what you can with this life that you're given. Make the most out of it, and that kind of thing. Leave a lasting impression that will be a legacy long after you are gone. That's sort of the mentality I have. He says, okay, gone over that. And as I walk through all my myths, rising and sinking like the waves, with my thoughts wrapped around me through a trial of tears. This one's kind of what I'm probably going to have to read. These lines talk about the protagonist who has become jaded and uninspired, facing an inner trial which judges one has wasted all those years. It's about doubting who you really are. I disagree, especially with this line right here. I definitely think that it could be about things that he never accomplished, or things that he may have wasted time on, a love interest or something like that. So I think that it could mean a multitude of things, not just becoming uninspired. Hidden by disguise, stumbling in a world, feeling uninspired, he gets into his car. Not within his eyes to see. Open up, not much better than the men you hate. So I guess he's looking at other people and he's grown to resent them because of that. But in reality, it's himself that he resents. I guess something like that. Verse 1 says, there's no way that's verse 1. Or is this just the part? Okay, so each part is broken up into individual mini songs. Still awake, I continue to move along, cultivating my own nonsense. Welcome to the wasteland, where you'll find ashes, nothing but ashes. So basically, he's saying he's reaping what he has sown. He sowed nothingness and nonsense, and so that is what he is reaping back from it. That definitely makes sense when you compare Welcome to the Wasteland, you'll find nothing but ashes. So I definitely see what that one's talking about. And it says, bring change, bringing movement, bringing life, a silent prayer thrown away, disappearing in the air, rising, sinking, raining deep inside me, nowhere to turn, I look for a way back home. The protagonist was searching for something new, something better, but ended up in nothing but the wish to turn back home when he's wasted all the years. It may be far away from being what he is looking for in life, but it's the lesser evil. I find that kind of interesting that thematically it's very loosely linked to Octavarium. This whole song is about a cycle inevitably repeating itself, because he goes searching for things. He starts with nothing. He searches for things. He tries to become more, but he ends up just, I guess, growing, what's the term I'm looking for, complacent, and he ends up becoming just nothing again, and so he goes back to his home to sort of repeat the cycle. And so I find that kind of interesting that thematically it may not be exactly similar to Octavarium, but I definitely see there is some like there's some common ground between them. And so I've really enjoyed this song. Now, I gotta be honest, I did not like Octavarium like the first time I heard it, but the more I listen to it and the more I sort of understand like the links between the stuff and the references, it just is becoming my favorite, and it's getting up there in terms of the songs that I like. Now, this one is definitely already one of the favorites. This is probably my favorite off of the album, but I'm gonna have to listen to it a few more times before I give it an official ranking. Now comes the discussion part. We're going to try and keep this sort of short and sweet. First things first, I don't get the hate for this album. I've heard that this is probably their most controversial album besides The Astonishing, and I gotta be honest, I didn't see it. I didn't see what was so controversial. Sure, there was a couple of stinkers in the beginning, just most notably New Millennium and then You Not Me. Other than that, this album was like super solid. I have liked every single song on this album except those two. Liked and loved is like the two that I would mostly like say about the album. I've liked it at the very least, and I loved it at the most. So this album is definitely really good. It's definitely going to be going into my replay, and so that's what I'm going to be doing. But yeah, I really don't understand the hate for this album. If I had to rate it out of 5, I'd give it a 4. I'd give it a 4. I think that New Millennium and You Not Me are definitely enough to sort of bring it down at least one whole unit. But that being said, the rest of the album was really good to spectacular. And so I've really enjoyed this album. I think that it's flawed, but I also think that it's a really good album. That's sort of what I think about the album. Now, when it comes to my favorites, I'll let you guys know. Trail of Tears, definitely top. Anna Lee, I would say, is in the top 5. Anna Lee is in the top 5. I would say Lines in the Sand is probably second. Take Away My Pain is third. I would say, where was it? Hollow Years is 4th, and then Anna Lee is 5th. That's what I would say. Trail of Tears, Lines in the Sand, Take Away My Pain, Hollow Years, and Anna Lee. All of these songs were okay at best. I mean, at worst, and absolutely amazing at best. I would say that New Millennium, You Not Me are the two weakest songs on the album. Aside from those, I really didn't dislike any of the others. So like it was a really good album. I think that Derek was really, really good on this album, and he absolutely blew me away. And I'm definitely glad that I got a chance to listen to this album and hear his take on Dream Theater, because it was really good and honestly gave Rudess a run for his money. Derek was honestly really good, and I don't really see why Derek was replaced. Maybe there was some inner turmoil in the band that I don't know about. Maybe you guys could sort of fill me in on that. Now, was he on Awake? That's what I want to know. No, I could have sworn it was Kevin. I could have sworn Kevin was the drummer. I mean, the keyboardist on this one. Yeah, okay, it is Kevin Moore. All right, that is going to do it for this album reaction. I do apologize for it being so late. It is actually past the time it's supposed to be uploaded, but I got started late, so as a result, it's being uploaded late. But with that being said, this album was absolutely amazing. I loved it. It did have some stinkers in it, but for the most part, it was a super solid album. So with that out of the way, we'll see you guys later. This has been Christ. We'll see you next time.